This happened back in 2012, when I had just started my freshman year at a university in upstate New York. I was assigned room 111 in an old dorm building called Carter Hall. From the very first night, strange things began happening. Almost every night after I fell asleep, I would wake up to the sound of a boy crying, loud, painful sobs, like someone was beating him mercilessly. Sometimes I felt as if someone had entered my room and was standing silently near the window, just staring at me. The creepiest part was when I asked my roommate about it. He said he never heard or saw anything. About a month later, we got a short fall break. Most students went home, leaving the dorm nearly empty. My roommate left too, so I was completely alone. One night, a thunderstorm rolled in. Around midnight, someone started pounding hard on my door. When I opened it, no one was there. But when I turned back, all of my belongings were scattered across the floor, as if someone had tossed them around. The storm grew fiercer, lightning flashing and power flickering until the dorm went completely dark. Then again, bang, bang, bang. Someone pounded even harder on my door. I opened it, and once again, no one. But this time I noticed something terrifying. The room next to mine, room 110, which had always been padlocked shut, was now slightly open. Against my better judgment, something compelled me to step inside. The moment I entered, the door slammed shut behind me. The crying began again, louder, closer than ever before. Suddenly, the wardrobe in the corner shook violently, as if something inside was trying to claw its way out. My heart pounded as I backed away. That's when I heard glass shatter. I spun around toward the window, and in a flash of lightning, I saw it. A boy's body hanging from the ceiling fan, swaying in the storm's glow. His face was pale, his eyes wide open, staring right at me. I screamed and bolted out of the room, running straight to the security guard downstairs. Breathless, I told him everything. He gave me a strange look and led me back upstairs. When we reached room 110, the door was locked with a heavy chain, just like it had always been. I was shaking, insisting I had seen it open, insisting I had seen the boy. The guard sighed and said quietly, "That room's been sealed for over 15 years. A student once lived there. He fell in love with a professor's daughter. The professor didn't approve. During the annual fall festival, the professor hanged the boy from the ceiling fan in that very room. Ever since then, people say his spirit never left." And then he added, "That boy's name was Ethan." My stomach dropped. Ethan was my name too. The very next morning, I filed a request to transfer dorms. After that night, nothing like it ever happened again. But to this day, I still can't bring myself to walk past Carter Hall. This story is about the Harrington family who had recently moved into a new apartment in New Jersey. Mr. Harrington often traveled for work, so Mrs. Harrington was left to manage the household alone with their 2 young kids. It wasn't easy. New place, new neighbors, and strange creaks in the old building that never seemed to stop. On July 26th, a massive thunderstorm swept across the East Coast. The rain pounded against the windows, and the wind howled through the gaps of the old apartment building. That night, with Mr. Harrington away on a business trip, Mrs. Harrington tucked the kids into bed and sat in the living room watching TV, trying to distract herself from the unsettling storm. It was around 1 a.m. when she heard footsteps down the hallway. She assumed it was her son, Ethan, sneaking out of bed to play. Annoyed, she called out, "Ethan, get back to bed." But when she turned, it wasn't Ethan standing there. It was a teenage boy, maybe 18 or 19 years old, pale, soaked as if he had been standing in the rain, and grinning in the most unnatural way. His movements were jerky, childlike, but his face was disturbingly wrong. Heart pounding, Mrs. Harrington froze. The boy didn't say a word. He just turned and started walking straight toward the children's bedroom. Panicked, she rushed after him. But when she opened the door to the kids' room, there was nothing. The children were sound asleep. She searched everywhere, under the bed, in the closet, behind the curtains. Nothing. Then, as she slowly pulled open the wardrobe door, the boy was standing inside. His head tilted, eyes wide, grinning as if he had been waiting for her. Mrs. Harrington screamed and ran to grab her phone to call her husband. But the phone had no signal. That's when someone began pounding furiously on the front door. Terrified, she hesitated, but finally opened it. Standing there was an old woman, drenched from head to toe, holding a rusted shovel in her hands. Without saying a word, she stormed inside, heading straight toward the kids' room. "Stop! Who are you? Stay away from my children!" Mrs. Harrington shouted as she ran after her. The moment the old woman stepped inside the bedroom, the door slammed shut behind her with a violent force. When Mrs. Harrington finally managed to push it open, she saw the old woman standing on the balcony with the boy. They were both perched on the railing, swaying in the storm as if about to jump. Mrs. Harrington grabbed her car keys, snatched her children, and ran out of the apartment building, driving straight to a friend's house. The next morning, after telling her friend what happened, she learned the horrifying truth. On July 26, 2005, during the building's construction, a woman and her mentally unstable teenage son had fallen, or perhaps jumped, from the 25th floor balcony. Both had died instantly. That very apartment had remained empty ever since. No one stayed there for long, because those who did claimed they always saw the woman and her son on stormy nights. Waiting,